TGOH FDA CFRR permit number 0253 series of 2024. Drink responsibly.
Naamoy mo ba yun?
Baka naaamoy ka na rin ng katabi mo.
Baka as emergency na yan. Check yourself and use Rexona after every bath. Ang #1 Dio lotion ng bayan. Say no to as emergencies.
Delivery! Maria Jose?
Akin yan? Ang laki ng box!
Surprise!
Ba't ka nasa loob ng box?
Basta para sa'yo gagawin ko all! Tulad ng Pag-ibig Fund Multi-Purpose Loan. Pwede pang negosyo, tuition, personal needs, at iba pa. Up to 80% ng hulog mo ang pwedeng i-loan. No processing fee at fast approval pa. Kaya,
Apply na ng Pag-ibig Fund MPL via Virtual Pag-ibig!
Pag-ibig Fund, solid ka ban!
You're listening to Cool FM. Cool FM is a TVH Group of Networks radio station. Sondo's greatest hits are here. You are listening to Cool FM. Live from Cool Studios. This is koolNews Primetime.
Good evening and welcome to koolNews Primetime. I'm Kari. What will happen to buildings that house Philippine offshore gaming operators POGOs now that they are banned in the country? For Senator Joel Villanueva, the government should use the building for the benefit of Filipinos. So what do we do now with the buildings? I was the one who mentioned it could be used as housing. Second, evacuation centers, because what they built is wrong. There's even a tunnel, right? He said in Filipino. According to Villanueva, he talked to former Senate President Juan Mico Subiri and Senator Nancy Binay regarding the matter of the President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. announced the BOGO ban. Villanueva also filed a resolution seeking to repeal the low-taxing POGOs. If given the chance, he would ask Marcos to consider his bill as a priority measure. Under the bill, POGOs will have 30 days from the effectivity of the proposed measure to cease their operations. Failure or refusal of the firms to close operations shall subject the responsible officers to imprisonment of 12 to 20 years or a fine of 100 million pesos or both, and will subject the foreign offenders to deportation after service of sentence, the bill reads. The bill also stated that the Bureau of Internal Revenue will still have the authority to collect unpaid taxes from POGOs even after the Republic Act 11590 or the Act Taxing POGO, which was signed into law in 2021. Expectations of strong relations between the Philippines and the United States, regardless of who wins in the 2024 American presidential polls, are a good indication, as Filipino lawmakers in the House of Representatives said this would be a key in maintaining the country's sovereignty. Deputy Speaker David Zores, Manila 1st District Representative Ernesto Dioncio, and Surigao del Norte 2nd District Representative Robert A. Swabers on Wednesday all agreed that the ironclad commitment between the two countries shall be maintained or should be maintained whether it will be a Democrat or Republican victory this November. Number one, we're happy because we know that there will be an election in the U.S. this November, and we do not know what a results would be between the two parties vying for the presidency, but what's important here is that whatever the outcome may be, the position of the U.S. and our country, which has been ironclad for the past decades, should not change, Zores said in Filipino. U.S. Defense Chief Lloyd Austin III and Secretary of State Antony Blinken made the assurance that presidential elections would not change U.S.-Philippine ties after the 2+2 dialogue in Camp Aguinaldo on Tuesday. Austin and Blinken met with their Philippine counterparts, Defense Chief Gilberto Teodoro Jr. and Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo, to discuss policy directions on the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, ECA sites, and more military support amid tensions in the West Philippine Sea. During this event, the U.S. officials also committed to providing of $500 million or 29.3 billion pesos worth of military and security support for the Philippines, dubbed as an unprecedented and once-in-a-generation investment, amid shared concerns regarding China's aggressive actions. Denuncio and Barber said that military aid from the U.S. is a big deal as it would boost the capacities of agencies and offices securing the country's territorial integrity. Any addition is positive, so you know it's a welcoming thing that America will donate 29 billion pesos that can really be used to upgrade the capabilities of teams securing the West Philippine Sea, like the Coast Guard and the armed forces, and it also shows that the bond of the Philippines and US, like what Deputy Speaker J.J. Soros said, that it's ironclad. Dion Steele said. It's a very important thing that regardless of who is seated, the practice of helping each other remains. This will benefit our Philippine Coast Guard, and we all know that our Coast Guard has had some problems regarding its capability, and now these funds that will be extended to the Philippine government will purposely upgrade the capability of our Coast Guard, Barbos added. Furthermore, Barber said that the U.S. assistance may allow the Coast Guard to monitor other areas outside of the West Philippine Sea, putting into reality his goal of having the eastern seaboard protected too. Maybe they can, with that amount of money, not only secure the West Philippine Sea. I have been calling for a presence in the eastern seaboard of our country. As I said, the eastern waters are equally important, and that traverses the Pacific Ocean from the north of our country down to Mindanao in Surigao City, Barber said, or Mindanao, whatever they said it here. That's why we want to have the capability to protect the Philippine territory and our EEC in that area. So again, with this development, this is good news that regardless of whoever wins in Washington by November, ties would remain strong, he added. Manila and Washington have enjoyed good relations under the Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and U.S. President Joe Biden. However, as early as February 2024, Philippine Ambassador to the U.S. Jose Manuel Romualdez was quoted as saying that the Philippine government has been monitoring the presidential race. Biden was seeking re-election in 2024, but he eventually backed out last July 22 and endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris instead. In April, before Marcos, Biden and Japanese Prime Minister Kishida Fumio held a trilateral summit. Romualdez said that he believed nothing much would change should former U.S. President Donald Trump win in November. Romualdez, who was already U.S. ambassador when Trump was in office, explained that some of the policies implemented by the Biden administration regarding the Indo-Pacific region started when went from 2017 to 2021. The former president was at the helm. The European Union has donated 1.2 million euros or over 76 million pesos in humanitarian aid for flood victims in Mindanao. The donation will be for food assistance, access to safe water and sanitation facilities, and other essential services. The beginning of this year's monsoon and typhoon season is proving very hard for people in the Philippines, and the EU is stepping up its assistance to the most affected populations. This funding will help provide much needed relief to people in Mindanao, said EU Commissioner for Crisis Management Jens Lenarek in a statement on Tuesday. In February, the European Union donated 500,000 euros or over 36 million pesos to flood victims in Mindanao. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council on Wednesday reported that 5,263,531 individuals or 1,421,224 families have been affected by the onslaught of Typhoon Karina, the Sarwest monsoon, and Tropical Depression Puchol. The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Mindanao has the third highest number of affected individuals. At least 552,971 individuals or 110,874 families in the region were affected by the typhoon. The International Criminal Court has already asked Interpol to issue a blue notice against 5 former and current high-ranking officials of the Philippine National Police tagged in the Duterte administration's war on drugs, former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV said Wednesday. Trillanes said the blue notice request came after the ICC asked the Philippine government to interview the 5 ranking police officers. The 5 former and current ranking police officers are Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, who served as PNP chief under the Duterte administration, former PNP chief Oscar Albayate, former PNP Criminal Investigation and Detection Group chief Romeo Ramat, Director of PNP's Drug Enforcement Group, Elazar Mata, and National Police Commissioner Edilberto Leonardo. In addition to submitting this document to the Philippine government, the ICC has requested Interpol to include these 5 individuals in the Blue Notice, which could cause them to be held at various immigration counters whenever they may travel abroad. He said, Blue Notice is an alert circulated to help law enforcers in member countries share information about a particular person's activities. The subject of the Blue Notice is either a convicted or charged person, a suspect, or a witness to a crime. Journalists said the request of the ICC prosecutor to interview the 5 police officials is equivalent to a summons. If they do not cooperate, then the evidence against them will prevail and they will not be able to present their side of the case, he said. Although the Philippine government still insists that the country is no longer under the ICC's jurisdiction, it said the ICC prosecutor could come and interview the suspects. However, Solicitor General Menardo Guerrava said they are not legally bound to assist the ICC. The Philippine government cannot stop him from proceeding any way he wants. He can directly interview persons of interest online, through phone, by email, face-to-face, subject to the consent of these persons, Guerrava told reporters. He added, but the ICC prosecutor cannot expect that the Philippine government will facilitate it for him. Okay, it is now 9:11 in the evening, and we will have more headlines coming up on koolNews Primetime. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Sing it along to the music. Cool FM.
Welcome back to koolNews Primetime. If given a chance, Senator Joe Villanueva would ask President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to consider as a priority measure the bill that seeks to repeal the law taxing Philippine offshore gaming operators' POGOs. Villanueva made the pronouncement at the Kapihan sa Senado forum on Wednesday. The lawmaker said he is willing to push for the prioritization of his measure, Senate Bill number 2752, which calls for the permanent cancellation of POGO license issued by the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation. If I were given a chance to talk to the president, I would appeal that this be made a priority. I am sure the president is so happy about the people's reaction. I remember shaking hands with him after his SONA State of the Nation address, and I told him that I felt it and that I knew that he was very happy that he delivered the right message, not only anticipated but also needed by Filipinos, Villanueva to reporters. Senate Bill number 2752 was 12 days after Marcos announced the POGO ban during his third SONA. Villanueva also said he wants to discuss his plan with Senate President Francis Escudero. I have yet to talk to our Senate President, but probably today I'll talk to him about it. If we can fast-track this important measure, he said. Even if POGOs are elucidated, for example, by the end of the year, this measure will still not exist because it has yet to be passed. I will still continue to push for this measure. And as I earlier mentioned, it's because of the fact that we don't want the next administration or the future administration to invite the POGOs back, he added. Under Villanueva's measure, POGOs will have 30 days from the effectivity of the proposed law to cease their operations. Failure or refusal of the firms to close operations shall subject the responsible officers to imprisonment of 12 to 20 years or a fine of 100 million pesos or both, and will subject the foreign offenders to deportation after service of sentence, his bill reads. The bill also states that the Bureau of Internal Revenue will still have the authority to collect unpaid taxes from POGOs, even up to the repeal of Republic Act 11590 or the Act taxing POGO, which was signed into law in 2021. The Rice for All program will be available in 421 stores on August 1, Thursday, the Department of Agriculture announced Wednesday. Under this program, the rice will be sold to the public at 45 pesos per kilo and initially offered in Food Terminal Incorporated in Taguig City, the Bureau of Plant Industry in Manila, Terrero in Malabon, and Caloocan. Each customer is limited to 25 kilos of purchase per day. It will be adjusted depending on the movement of rice prices, but it will definitely be lower than retail prices in general, said Agriculture Secretary Francisco Lara Jr. in a statement. According to Agriculture Assistant Secretary Arnold de Mesa, the program aims to help Filipinos cope with the impact of inflation on the prices of goods. De Mesa also said that the program 2019 selling of rice at 29 pesos per kilo for vulnerable households is extended to Santa Rosa Hill in Santa Rosa, Laguna, and Antipolo City, Rizal. The rice program is currently operating in 17 Kadiwa stores. Both the 29 peso rice and Rice for All programs are designed to make this essential staple more accessible and affordable for every Filipino, in line with President Marcos' vision of walang magkagantom sa bagong Pilipinas, said De Mesa. The Department of Education has recommended to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. the members of a task force that aims to improve Filipino students' performance in the program for international student assessment. Education Secretary Sonia Aguero said it at the Brigada Basa Partners Network launch in Mandaluyong City on Wednesday. We have an idea of who we want. We have recommended it to the Office of the President. We're waiting for the final approval, he told reporters. According to Angara, the task force will be composed of DepEd officials and education experts from the private sector. They initiative to create a task force on PISA follows Marcos' directive to improve Filipino learners' ranking in international assessments. China on Wednesday warned the Philippines it risked greater insecurity for itself after the United States said it would provide $500 million in additional military funding to Manila in the face of Beijing's growing assertiveness. In Manila on Tuesday, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken unveiled what he called a once-in-a-generation investment to help modernize the Philippine Armed Forces and Coast Guard. Asked about the announcement, Beijing's Foreign Ministry on Wednesday warned Manila that wooing countries from outside the region to provoke confrontation in the South China Sea will only undermine regional stability and aggravate tensions. Trying to introduce external forces to protect its own security will only lead to greater insecurity for itself, and it might even become someone else's fault, spokesman Lin Jen said. The latest high-level U.S. visit follows a series of escalating confrontations between Philippine and Chinese vessels in the disputed waterway that have raised concern about that Washington could be dragged into a conflict due to its mutual defense treaty with Manila. The Philippines' proximity to the hotly contested South China Sea as well as a subgroup Taiwan will make it a key partner for the United States if a conflict were to break out in the region. Beijing claims almost the entire waterway, despite an international ruling that its association has no legal basis and considers democratic Taiwan to be part of its territory. And Trade Secretary Alfredo Pascal resigned from his post, the palace said on Wednesday. According to the Presidential Communications Office, Pascal resigned from his post to return to the private sector. His resignation will be effective on August 2. The PCO also said President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. accepted Pascal's resignation after a meeting in Malacanang. His focus on MSMEs, or known as micro, small, and medium enterprises, was absolutely correct, and we are beginning to see the fruits of that policy. We are sorry to lose him, but we respect his decision that this is the time for him to return to the private sector, said Marcos, as quoted by PCO. No successor has been named yet, but the PCO said the search for Pascal's replacement will commence immediately to ensure a seamless transition and continuity in the Department of Trade and Industry Intuitives. Pascal confirmed that he resigned as DTI chief. After much reflection, I have decided it is time for me to return to the private sector. Therefore, my roles will allow me to continue contributing my expertise and experience while being able to spend quality time with my family, his statement read. He also thanked Marcos for the opportunity and said his time serving in the cabinet was an extraordinary privilege and honor. According to Pascal, his role as DTI chief has been one of the most challenging yet fulfilling experiences of his career. And finally, in showbiz entertainment news, taking her cue from husband Nino Mudluch, his wife Dian Abby Tupas also made a cryptic post on Facebook as she called for justice to be served on unnamed individuals who allegedly disrespected and did despicable things to their children. Without mentioning names or citing a particular incident, Tupas lamented that they showed their children love and care, only for them to be treated with disrespect by some people. We raised and took good care of our children with love and care, only for them to be disrespected by people consumed by evil to commit such vile acts, she said in a Facebook post. We will not allow this without getting justice. Our child will carry the trauma of what you did for the rest of their life. We don't care who you are or who protects you, further declared the non-showbiz mother. Tupas further said that her family plans to go after these individuals so that they will get the punishment they deserve. The post has been shared by some citizens who speculated that it was about her stepson, Sandro Mitchell's child, from his first wife, Edward Miller, with many comments alluding to justice being served. Aside from Sandro, Mitchell has another son, 40-year-old Alonso, whom he shares with Tupas. Alonso also used to be a child actor on ABS-CBN, just like his father. Mucci first sparked intrigue among citizens after he posted a cryptic statement on his Facebook page, which received comments of support from the netizens for the family, especially his son Sandro. The young actor likewise shared a religious quote on his Instagram stories about God healing the helpless. Speculations about a wrongdoing done on Sandro arose after a blind item came out on social media, alleging that two TV consultants had sexually abused a young actor after a recent big network event at a hotel in Taguig. The rumor was further fueled by a post by showbiz insider Augie Diaz, seemingly affirming that the abuse indeed happened. Incidentally, GMA Network released a statement addressing rumors about two of its contractors, saying it is committed to conducting a true and impartial investigation. And just before we wrap it up with koolNews Primetime, we would like to have some changes to koolNews starting next week. So, starting next week, we will not be having koolNews at 4 p.m. as a weekday newscast, although the 4 p.m. newscast will continue as a weekend newscast. This was done to the semester schedule, as we would like to respect our fellow koolNews anchors for the time being. So, koolNews Early Edition, koolNews at 11 a.m., and koolNews at 4 p.m. as a weekday newscast will be indefinitely going on hiatus until we can say these newscasts will come back. So again, for koolNews Early Edition and koolNews at 11 a.m., it's already effective since a while ago, but for 4 p.m. newscast as a weekday newscast, that will be effective next week, so keep that in mind. And that is it for koolNews Primetime. As always, you can get in touch with us at tvhthephilippines.news@gmail.com. And we will be back with more headlines tomorrow at 12 noon, as we will be sharing you the latest news headlines that you need to know throughout the day. Until then, I'm Carlo, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night.